It's quite a sight on a chilly mid-Michigan night. The North Financial Center, the site of tonight's OHL matchup to the Firebirds and the Ottawa 67s. Flint takes the ice for the first time in the new year, having lost back-to-back, while Ottawa's nearing the end of its World Juniors forced road trip. Let's go for the Firebirds and the 67s. Flint Firebirds hockey is on the air, and it starts right now. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the broadcast booth for tonight's pregame show, driven by Shea Automotive. Here to tell you this story, I'm Brian Gardner. We got the Firebirds and the Ottawa 67s. As a happy new year to you and yours. Thank you for making this first broadcast of 2025 a part of your Friday evening. So the Firebirds starting out at 3-3 here this evening, as the Birds, not a typical 3-3. It's 3 games in 3 nights against 3 different opponents in 3 different cities. Firebirds are here at home tonight, tomorrow afternoon in Brampton, before heading to Oshawa on Sunday afternoon to finish out that 3-3. Their opponent today, the Ottawa 67s, no stranger to the tough travel, as this is game number 8 out of 9 in a row away from home for the 67s. Their home building, TD Place in Ottawa, is being used as one of the venues for the World Junior Championships that are being hosted in Ottawa. Their head coach and their captain and leading goal scorer, Dave Cameron and Luca Pinelli, respectively, have been away with Team Canada as well during the World Juniors. More on that to come throughout our broadcast. But the 67s, a bit of a short-handed squad as they come in off of a game in Saginaw yesterday, while the Firebirds had the day off. So let's jump in and see what happened in each of the last 2 games for both of these teams with our highlights. Going back to New Year's Eve, when the Birds were in action in Windsor, first period early, Ethan Garden gonna get things started. Garden off the feed from Carson Woodall. He shoots and scores, and it's 1-0 Spitfires. Quickly thereafter, how about Ilya Protas? Can't lose sight of him. Ethan Belchez hits him, the rookie. On to Protas, the Caps prospect, his 21st of the season. Rip, 2-0 Windsor. Windsor gonna keep it rolling in this first period. This time it's Jack Nesbitt from J.C. Lemieux and Liam Greentree to make the score 3-0. Then Ethan Belchez off the failed clear from the Firebirds, and it's 4-0. How about a fifth? Lose sight in the left circle of Noah Morneau. Ryan Abraham hits him, 5-0 Spitfires. Second period we go. One face-off for the Birds. Kolzarowski stepping into that, snaps it top shelf after Carlos Flugens tied up the draw. Then the Firebirds on the power play. It's Nate Aspinall from long range outside the left circle. Aspinall through traffic and in, and the Birds are back within 3. Then later, Birds kill off a penalty. Shot, save, rebound, score, Jimmy Lombardi. And the Birds are within 2. Caden Petrie get the primary assist there. To the third, Birds on the power play. Mania, a shot, save, rebound, Clattenburg. He scores, 4 unanswered, and it's 5-4 for the Firebirds, but they ran out of time. Windsor got an empty net goal. They're celebrating on New Year's Eve with a final score of 6-4. Last night up the road in Saginaw, the Spirit playing host to the Ottawa 67. Zane Perek, high slot, snapshot. He gets that one in. Perek has such a quick release. Got it through traffic and scored to make the score 1-0. 67's going to answer. How about Nathan Amidovsky from Brady Stonehouse? He cashes in on the breakaway. Perek doesn't have a stick, not much he can do there, and it's 1-1. Saginaw will take the lead back, though. This time it's Carson Harmer. Nice feed from Caleb Mangoni. Harmer on the back door, gets it past McKenzie, and it's 2-1. But the 67s, they'll answer again, late second period. This time Brady Stonehouse from the slot gets through, and it's 2-2. Goaltender got moving side to side, just enough space, but Saginaw on the power play. Early third, Christian Epperson. What a move to get through the defense. Epperson goes low, and he goes 5-hole, and that puts Saginaw on top. Later, empty net for the 67s. First one hit the post. Second chance, though, is banged home from Epperson. His second. They would add another empty net goal, and they go on to win it by a final score of 5-2. Get a look at how these teams stack up. It's a Firebird squad and a 67 squad, both with a negative goal differential. Now, Ottawa struggles at times to keep the puck out of the net, which has been a strength for the Firebirds. The Birds, we're starting to see the special teams improve, especially the penalty kill. It's been really good, 23 out of 25 in its last 6 games. Ottawa really struggles on the penalty kill. Firebirds off of a 2 power play goal performance in that loss against Windsor, so the power play improving. Ottawa has one of the best power plays in the Ontario Hockey League. Standings out east, it's the 67s in a tie for 7th place. Even with the Brampton Steelheads, the team the Firebirds are going to see tomorrow. Brampton at 15-15, 5-0, 35 points. Ottawa 14-14, 2-5, also 35 points. The Eastern Conference has been a little bit more closely bunched up than has the West, as we'll take a look at what the Western Conference looks like. And for the Firebirds, still sitting in 6th, as they had briefly surpassed the Saginaw Spirit, but the back-to-back losses for Flint fall with a couple of wins for Saginaw. Spirit with the Firebirds with a game in hand on the Spirit, but they're 3 points behind them. Erie's also within reach, but the Otters have 3 games in hand over the Firebirds and a 6-point edge. It's interesting to see where the Birds find themselves after this week of work, this 3-3 against all Eastern Conference foes. So it's the Firebirds and the Ottawa 67s. The only trip here to mid-Michigan of the season for the 67s. Firebirds will be out that way in February for the second half of this 2-game season series. Hey, stick around a while. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a break right now, but when we come back, we'll get a look at the lineups for both of these games. Who's in, who's out, some players to watch, all that and more when we come back on the pregame show driven by Shea Automotive. We got the Firebirds and the 67s live on the Firebirds Hockey Network.
The all-new Shea Collision Center, designed and built for all your collision needs, in a streamlined process to make your experience seamless. First, you'll be greeted by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Next, we'll assess the damage for your insurance company. We'll then order all the parts needed. Production is next, with our highly trained and certified technicians. When all repairs are complete, we will clean, inspect, and deliver your vehicle back to you. The all-new Shea Collision Center. Your vehicle will love us, and you will too. Just saying.
Birds, 67s. On FHN is the pregame show driven by Shea Automotive. Firebirds welcoming the Ottawa 67s, the visitors from Canada's capital, for their only trip here to the Dort Financial Center this season. Let's get a look at the lineups. We'll begin with our visitors from Ottawa. 67s are down 2 players. Now, Ottawa, we've mentioned, is on a really long road trip. This is game number 8 out of 9 in a row on the road. Had to clear out of their home due to the World Junior Championships and the fact that they're using TD Place for some of those games. So the 67s find themselves away from home. Was talking to Kenny Walls, their radio voice, prior to today's game, and he was saying, I think this is day number 9 or 10 of maybe 12 in a row on the road. It's more than a week and a half. They did have that holiday break in the interlude of the 67, starting to get a little bit banged up. You see Deitch on the 4th line right wing. He's a natural defenseman. Only 11 forwards and 5 defensemen in there for Ottawa today. Our players to watch: Cooper Foster. In the absence of Luca Pinelli, who's with Team Canada at World Juniors, Foster's been asked to shoulder bit more of the load. Penguins prospect is their top line center, and he's been good, sitting at just under a point per game, 34 points in 35 games played, 1 assist yesterday. He's got points in 4 in a row. That is 1 goal and 4 assists during that stretch. 3rd on the team in both goals with 14 and in points with 34. To the blue line and Henry Muse. Speaking of World Juniors, he's a name that's popped up a couple of times as a maybe should have been for Team Canada, and his numbers will tell you why. The Flames prospect leads all defensemen in scoring in the OHL with 49 points. He paces the 67s in both points with those 49 and assists with those 38. Muse will be out there a ton with only 5 defensemen dressed for the 67s. He's 2nd overall in assists here this season, the Flames prospect. And to the blue line, and Will Gerrois did not play yesterday. The 67s have 4 overagers, so generally one of their key guys is getting scratched. You can only dress 3 overagers in any given game. He's back in today, though, brings a really interesting stat line. 20 goals on the season, but only 3 assists. He's now 6 goals shy of his career high of 26 set last season, and he's on a 7-game goal streak. 9 goals in those 7 games. Committed to play NCAA hockey at the University of Maine. Will Gerrois, guy who can put the puck in the net for Ottawa. To the Firebirds, as the Birds will be once again without Chris Thibodeau, who's out with that lower body injury suffered last time the Birds were on home ice against the London Knights, is walking, no longer on crutches. That's a good sign for Thibodeau. You see Josh Colosimo back in the lineup. Carlos Flugans is in for the second consecutive game after returning from being with Team Latvia for the pre-tournament action for World Juniors. Didn't end up making the final squad. Firebirds moving the lines around a little bit in the absence of Thibodeau. You see Evan Kanyan on the top line, Jeremy Martin on the second line as they continue to shuffle things up. Players to watch for the Birds. We'll start with Nathan Aspinall. Big winger scored a power play goal in the second period on New Year's Eve. That was his first goal in 4 and his 9th goal of the season. Last 7 games does have 4 points. It's really been there in flashes this season for the Rangers prospect. Once again alongside Jimmy Lombardi today. We already pointed out Jeremy Martin slotting in on that right wing. They had been skating with Evan Kanyan, who's up on the Petrie and Clattenburg line. Should be interesting to see that mix. Talked to Nate Aspinall earlier in the season, and he mentioned last year the Christmas break was a bit of a turning point for him, as he got to go home, see some family, get recharged. We'll see if that ends up being the case once again this season. Speaking of Jimmy Lombardi, put up 3 points on Tuesday in the 6-4 loss that snapped out of a bit of a point-getting funk. His goal was his 6th and his first in 18 games, if you can believe it. He's up to 22 points. He has surpassed the 20 that he put up last season as a rookie. Jimmy's draft eligible in 2025, a goal and 2 assists against Windsor, equaling his season high in terms of output of 3 points in a single game, 6 goals and 16 helpers on the year. And to Connor Clattenburg, Flint's captain's been red hot. He's off of a 2-point game. He has points in 6 straight in 10 of his past 11. Point streak tied for longest of the season by a Firebird. He's also tied for the team lead with 12 goals. Clattenburg's really elevated the place since signing his NHL contract with the Edmonton Oilers, and the Ottawa area native will get a crack at his hometown OHL team here this evening. So it's the Firebirds and the Ottawa 67s. Should be a fun one today, live from the Dort Financial Center. Should be a good crowd. First of 2 Firebirds Fight Hunger games here this month as the Firebirds work in tandem with the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan to get meals in the hands of families in need. Hey, stick around. We're going to take a break right now, but when we come back, we'll be live with the starting lineup introductions. We'll have national anthems and the puck drop right after that. This has been the pregame show driven by Shea Automotive. It's the Birds and the 67s. Live on the Firebirds Hockey Network.
As 2024 comes to a close, our family here at Shea Automotive Group reflects on the year we've had with all of you. To our customers and our community, we send you a heartfelt thank you. From Chevy, Buick GMC, the Mega Lot, Mega East, Service, and Collision, have a happy and safe holiday season. And here's to a prosperous, peaceful, happy 2025 together. Just saying.